Hey guys, this is video number 2 that I'm doing in this series, if you will, series of vlogs to answer those of you that have asked, you know, Kelly, it's the end of 2010, how have you gotten to this place this year where you feel comfortable with what you're eating, you feel comfortable with, you know, not being on a crazy diet and whatever. And this video I wanted to do, again, kind of wrote my notes as far as what I wanted to answer for you guys so that you would understand the steps that I went through. And number one, I think it's important for you guys to understand, so if you can relate, like, how did I get to a point where I needed to deal with food issues? Like, for those of you that have been watching my blogs or my videos, shame on you, just kidding. But like, what is it that I'm fixing? Long story short is, you know, I've never been somebody that was hugely overweight. I did gain a lot of weight. This was before I finished college. I moved to Pensacola, Florida. And I think that's when like my first shift in metabolism. I've never really started working out or even remotely paying attention to fitness until I was, I think it was like 25. I don't even know. That's not it. I'm trying to think of when I came back. Anyway, I moved to Pensacola right before I graduated college. Like I was 23. Moved down there. My parents were like, "Oh, what are you doing?" But I moved down there to chase a boy, and he didn't end up chasing me back, so there's that. But when we moved to Pensacola, you know, we were down there, we were partying all the time, being hungover and waking up late and going out to Old Country Buffet down in Florida, just like carb heaven, sugar heaven, and just gained a ton of weight. So then by the time I moved back to finish college, you know, my mom saw me and she was like, "Did you add a twin to your body?" And just like, I mean, literally, I think that was the highest I've ever weighed. I was like 176. I weighed myself. I was up to like a size 12, almost breaking into a 14. But I don't know, because I was really wearing like one main summer dress and a lot of sweats. But the thing about my body is I'm very curvy, and when I gain weight, I just gain it all over, so I just was more curvy. I don't tend to just gain it all in my, like a gut. So that can be good and bad. It can be good and bad. It can be good because I gain it everywhere. It can be bad because it's harder to notice. I knew back then that I gained weight, but I don't think I had realized how much I gained weight. So I moved home. That was the first time. This was years ago, you guys. Remember, I'm 40, almost 42. So I started reading books. I remember reading that Susan Powter book, Stop the Insanity. Started doing low fat, started dieting and paying attention, lost about, I'm going to say probably 20, 25 pounds. So I got down to like 150, which is still heavy for me. I'm 5'4" ¾ But that's where I got where people were like, "Wow, you've lost so much weight, you look great." And I kind of just hovered there for a while. Fast forward, graduated college, moved here to Chicago, and then slowly started gaining weight again. And then it was Tae Bo that I first started doing as far as working out. I did Tae Bo, this was back when they were on VHS tapes, you guys. So I was doing Tae Bo and kind of watching what I was eating, but I had no concept. I wasn't reading any magazines. I wasn't reading any books. I had no concepts what to eat. But there was some level of me becoming interested in fitness after Tae Bo. I wasn't doing anything with weights until, I don't even know when it was, I'm trying to think, several years later, and I found the Firm videos, right? Those were weights and cardio. I started to become interested. You know, I wanted to have muscles, but I really didn't know how to go about it. It wasn't until I started working out with a trainer so this was right after I started blogging. It's like 2008. So this is really the past 2 years, you guys. I'd gone on every kind of like fad diet over the years through that. You know, I've certainly done the cabbage soup diet. I'd done low carb. I did Atkins for a while, and I would lose weight. And then, you know, then I really started counting calories. That was a huge help to me. I think I got down to my lowest weight of about 123, 122, 123 was like the leanest that I've personally gotten. Now I don't weigh myself right now, and there's another reason for that, but that was kind of like my leanest. So my average is like around 150, where I'm still curvy, but I'm really, you know, that was when I was still too heavy. And then my leanest that I gotten was 123, but that was before working out with weights or anything. I don't weigh myself now because I really could care less what the number is on the scale. I'm more attuned to how I look naked and how much fat I have and my level of fitness as opposed to some number. I don't care what size I am. All I know is I judge by how I look completely naked and where I can see areas that I need improved, whatever. That's what I go by. But anyway, back to the whole like, why did I need to get on top of my food issues? So that's kind of like my history of working out. And then in 2008, that's when I started working out with a trainer at the gym. So that's when I started training really hard, and it was also, coincidentally, the time that my, my hormones and my body had started changing. I wasn't aware of what was going on. But for those of you guys that have been paying attention to my blog, you know that I've never had kids, and apparently I've learned that when you've never had kids, your body, if you're a woman, you can go into perimenopause early. Most women enter into that kind of phase of their life in their 50s. I'm going into that very early. I've had blood work done, and they said, yeah, your hormones are changing, yada, yada, yada. So my body was changing, and I was gaining weight in areas I'd never gained it before. And so all of this stuff, combined with some, you know, medical concerns, it was just a really stressful time. And I'm starting to work out with a trainer and kind of for the first time worry about diet and worry about, I felt like, wow, my body had changed and I wanted to fix it. I'm one of those people that when I want to fix something, I want to fix it quick. So I was like, okay, that's it. We're going to fix this in 3 months, 2 months, or whatever. And I wanted to do everything I could to fix it. And so I put up all these rules, and I'm like, I'm going to do exactly what Jay tells me. And I started following my trainer's advice, and he would say, here's what you want to eat. And I was writing down everything I was eating, and I was obsessed with fixing my body, obsessed with, you know, fixing what was going on. And then, of course, I was still reading blogs, so then I was branching out to reading more bloggers that were in figure competitions, more bodybuilding blogs. And then I started to run into where other people would tell me, you got to do this, you can't do this, and I had all of these people feeding into telling me what to do and what not to do. And because I respect the opinion of so many people, I started panicking and changing what I was doing. And I would be like, oh, I've got to do more cardio. Oh, I've got to do this. Oh, I've got to do high intensity. And I just started kind of really, for lack of a better term, constantly every month flipping out. So my trainer was measuring my body fat. I was making progress, but I wasn't making progress in my mind. And I wanted everything to be fixed right then, right now. So I kept switching. I'd listen to somebody and I'd say, oh, they're making progress faster. So then I'd start over and I'd go, no sugar. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to have soda. I'm not going to have water. I'm just making stuff up here. I'm not going to have beef. I'm going to do this. Only rice, only vegetables. And I mean, I just kept changing because I wanted to fix things fast. And I thought you have to follow a set rules and you've got to stay within the parameters of whatever this is. I'm just saying, here's a square, here's your rules, and you've got to stay in here, and the only way you can achieve success is if you follow these rules. And then I was so obsessed with what I could have and what I couldn't have, that then if something came up, like a work event or traveling, and I'm in the airport and there wasn't anything that fit in this little category here, and I had to have a protein bar, or if I absolutely, you know, made a mistake and was at a party and I had a drink, then I'd be like, oh, I've ruined everything. And then I'd stare in the mirror and I'd be like, this is why, you know, and I'd be freaking out. I wasn't getting the results. I kept trying harder, working out more, eating less, obsessing more. It became this like insane cycle. I was miserable, I was stressed, I was going through hormonal changes, I was going through a medical issue that we know now was a result of that, the hormonal issues. But it was just, I was like a car wreck. And I got to the point where I remember reading that book, Naturally Thin, by Bethany Frankel, and she was talking about, you know, it's not going to kill you if you have a sandwich. You know, you don't have to eat the huge sandwich, but if you have a bite of a sandwich, and I sat there and I was like, I don't remember the last time I've had a sandwich because I've been obsessed that bread is carbs and carbs are bad. And so I hope you guys are beginning to see, like, this is what got me to that crazy mindset of like fearing food and putting so much value on food. Like, bread is bad, it's evil, I can't have rice. If I ate sushi, I'm bad because that has mayonnaise in it, and that has this many calories, and I can't drink because of this. And then if I did, instead of looking at it as like, this is a little bump that you just, a little hurdle, like, oh, you had a glass of wine last night, okay, not ideal, but let's, you know, balance it. I was like, oh no, this is it, I've got to blow it and start all over. And I started to put so much more value on food that was bad, right? So I'm looking at food as the enemy. I'm terrified of everything. I'm working harder, training way too much, training like ridiculous amounts, not eating enough. And what I was eating was totally not balanced. I was putting way too much emphasis on what I could and couldn't have, too many rules, following too much stuff, and my results were worse. I mean, frankly, I was putting my body in a worse condition. I was more stressed, I was more upset, and I just flat out, the results were not there. I was not losing, I was either staying the same or getting worse. So that's kind of giving you this background of like where I come from in the past, how I got to that, like really what I just call like a psycho. I always call it like a psycho diet mindset. I was listening to too many people, wasn't paying attention at all to my body, wasn't trusting myself, and I just got to the point where fitness wasn't fun. It was more done out of fear, and I wasn't sure about anything, and I wasn't getting results. So that's just my little story, 12-minute story of giving you this history of where I came from, how I got to this point, and really why, when you hear where I've come to now, as far as like the end of the year 2010, where I can say, hey, you know what? I'm totally comfortable with what I'm eating, how I'm eating, and the results that I'm getting, and my body's changing. I'm more comfortable, I figured it out, sorry. And it's an awesome feeling. So that's my history, and if you want to stay tuned, I'll kind of address some of the other like aha moments that help me, and hopefully they'll help you. So peace out, I hope you can do the same.